So there's this one sentence from NVIDIA CEO Jensen Huang, and it has the entire tech world in a spin. And you know what? Depending on who you ask, it sounds like a threat, maybe an insult, or just a massive, massive opportunity. Today, we're going to break down what he really meant and what it means for the future of building things.
And there it is. That's the quote. Human language is the new C++. This is the idea that's at the heart of this whole thing. The core concept is that the way we've been making software for, over 50 years now? Yeah, that's on the verge of an absolutely seismic shift. But here's the thing, and this is super important. Most people are looking at this and seeing a doomsday prediction, the end of a career. But if you look a little closer, it's not a threat at all. It's actually a map to the future. And if you learn how to read it, you're going to be more than ready for whatever comes next.
So, to read this map correctly, first we've got to understand why so many people are, reading it completely upside down. See, the entire debate has been framed around a single and frankly flawed question.
You hear it everywhere, right? Will AI replace programmers? It's the wrong question. The right question, the one we should all be asking, is which parts of programming were always just annoying overhead, and which parts are the actual creative thinking? Because it's that overhead, that friction, that's what's getting automated away.
And this overhead, it actually has a name. For decades, it's been this kind of hidden tax on every single software project, slowing everything down, adding all this friction. And guess what? We're about to see it get totally abolished.
Think about it. For 60 years, computers have been these super literal, kind of dumb machines. They only cared about exactly what you typed, not what you actually meant. And this created a kind of special priesthood. The programmers who could speak the secret language and translate human ideas into precise machine code. Well, now that barrier, the barrier of syntax, it's collapsing. We're moving from a world of explicit instructions to one where the machine can figure out our intent.
So let's really nail down what this translation tax is, because it's the key to everything. It's all the menial work that just gets in the way of actual creative problem solving. It's the boilerplate code, the endless configuration files, all that stuff. Think of it like a master chef having to forge their own knives and pans from scratch before they can even start cooking. Yeah, it's necessary work, but it's not the art. And now, that part of the job is just disappearing.
Now, you'd think, right, that automating a big part of a job would shrink an economy. But history shows us that when you get rid of a major bottleneck, a translation tax like this, the exact opposite happens. The entire ecosystem just explodes with new possibilities.
And honestly, the best way to think about this is with photography. When we no longer needed dark rooms and smelly chemicals to develop film, did photography die? No way! It exploded! The number of photos taken went from millions to trillions. The bottleneck shifted from how to take a photo to what's worth capturing. And that is exactly what's happening to software right now.
Okay, so if the old definition of a programmer is fading out, what's taking its place? Let's take a look at the new definition of what it means to be a builder. And listen, this shift is huge. The old definition of a programmer was pretty simple. It was someone who could make a computer do something. The new definition? It's someone who can make reality do something, using computers and AI as their tools. The focus isn't on mastering the tool anymore. It's on mastering the outcome.
So who are we talking about here? Who are these new builders? Well, they're the people who actually know stuff about the real world. A doctor who deeply understands how to triage patients in an ER. A logistics manager who knows exactly where a supply chain is going to break. A teacher who gets how a student actually learns. When the interface becomes human language, deep expertise in a subject becomes the new ticket to ride.
Let's make this super practical. Imagine two people, okay? Person A says, I'm learning 3 new programming languages so I don't become obsolete. Person B says, I'm learning exactly how and why supply chains break so I can build systems to fix them. In the old world, person A often had the upper hand.
But in the world we're moving into, person B wins every single time. And it's not even close. Why? Because the ability to just execute the code is becoming a commodity. But a deep, nuanced understanding of a real-world problem, that is becoming the truly scarce and valuable resource.
All right. So if the ability to just, write the code is becoming cheap, what's left? What are the skills that are actually going to matter? Let's get into the new skill set for the modern builder.
This right here is the fundamental change. So really let this sink in. When anyone can generate code, the value moves up the stack. It moves from generation to judgment. The world stops paying you for typing, and it starts paying you for choosing. choosing the right problem, choosing the right approach, and choosing the right solution to implement.
So what does that actually look like? Well, there are three big things. First, you have to think in first principles. That means stripping a problem down to its absolute core truths, not just chasing the trendiest new tool. Second, own a domain, not a tool. Your knowledge of biology or finance is an asset that grows over your entire career. Your knowledge of some random JavaScript framework is obsolete in a few years. And third, and this is crucial, you have to develop taste and judgment. It's that gut feeling, that ability to know what's robust, what's safe, and what will actually work in the messy real world.
Okay, so this is all great in theory, but how do you actually use this stuff? Let's talk about your new career strategy and how you can put this all into practice.
Look, the people who are really going to struggle with this shift are the ones whose identity is tied up in a specific tool. The ones who say, I am a Python developer. That's a brittle identity. The winners will have a resilient identity. They'll say, I solve hard problems in messy reality. They use tools, for sure, but they are not defined by them. So your new focus? It's actually crystal clear. It's a series of stop this, start that. Stop collecting tools and start collecting mental models of how reality actually works. Stop training your fingers to type faster and start training your brain, your judgment, to see the bigger picture and make better choices. That is the real investment you need to make in yourself. And let's be real, looking a few years down the road, everyone is going to be using AI. That's just going to be the baseline table stakes. The real separator, the thing that will make you stand out, will be your ability to build trustworthy systems with it. Systems that are reliable, secure, and don't have crazy, unintended side effects.
And that right there, that brings us to the ultimate scarcity, the one thing that's going to be incredibly rare and valuable in this new world. When the power to build is available to basically everyone, technical skill isn't the bottleneck anymore. Responsibility is. The ability to wield all that power with care and foresight becomes the most valuable asset you can possibly have.
So I'm going to leave you with a question, and it's a question that I think should reframe your whole approach to your career. Instead of asking, what programming language should I learn next, ask yourself this. What domain, what piece of the real world will you master so deeply that you have the expertise, the judgment, and the taste to look at what a machine has produced and say, nope, that's wrong? Because that right there is the human skill that will never, ever be automated.